adjust this down just a little bit for y'all so you can kind of see what I'm working on. So I got a few things we got to do today. As you can see, my tomatoes are doing well in the trellis here. I've got four, basically I have 4 rows total of tomatoes that we need to work on. Big part of that is just looking at how they're, basically checking their strings, making sure that they're doing well, and then, taking off any additional leaves or anything that are on there. So that's a big part of what we're doing today. Then we're going to get into staking the, we're going to be staking, Rich is right below you where you're at right now. We're going to be staking my summer squash as well as the zucchini. So I've got posts for those we'll be pounding in today. I have to check on my cucumbers. Then I've got my peas, all my lettuce. Yeah, so a lot of stuff to do today. It's gonna be a busy day out here. Been really hot up here the last few days here, so I really haven't been able to get out here. I don't like to do too much as far as work on the plants or anything when there's like really hot weather out there. It's just not good for them. It's tough for them to fix themselves or repair what they're doing. But now it's cooled down into the 80s and we're good to go here. So definitely all about it. And big part of what I'm doing right now is simply just peeling off any extra leaves and stuff on the plant. Now again, this is one of my slicing tomatoes that I have here, and I've already gotten the first few, and you can see this one's already starting to blush down here, which is good. That means it's gonna be ready to go. Ready to go here. I can probably take it out when I get back. I'm going on a trip to California next week to visit with family. So that's going to take up some of my time for sure. So I don't really want to pick anything, obviously before then. We'll leave it on there and let it just get extra green. And for this guy here, he's got an extra wrap. I want to secure him up a little bit more. Okay, cool. He's leaning a bit more than I like. So what we're going to do is one of my favorite tricks. We're just going to wind some of this up. Just like that. And I don't know if you saw what I did there. Basically, because I had too much slack in the line, what you do is you just take, I've just got to, from some of the wood chips I have on, got to stick in there. If you have trellises like this, you can just kind of wind it towards the top. Like this case, it just needed one twist. And then it'll stay put. We'll just, now that I'm showing you, it won't do what I asked it to do, of course, because I got it on the wrong side. But either way. There we go. There we go. See? Kind of know what I'm doing. All right, anyways, we got this locked up now, which is going to help support this. Now, this is more of an heirloom type tomato down here. Probably, you can definitely see there. Let's see if one of these doesn't need to be on here. I can show you. No, they all look pretty healthy. Good. See this little guy, he can go. One of the first ones, doesn't need to be on there. So, yeah, this is another type that I have growing on here. Just a little heirloom type, where it's got the little more bulbous in here, but these are really good for salads. It's one of the reasons I like them. So I've got a slicing one that I started. These are all started in my greenhouse ahead of time. So like in this case, this is a hybrid. It's a 60-day hybrid, and I kept track, and it took it 70 days before I could actually pull a tomato. So I'll take that. That's not too bad considering we're up here in northern Michigan, where our sunlight is kind of it is what it is. And this one here is supposed to be 90 days, and so it's going to end up somewhere close to probably right around 90 days when these will start blushing good and changing up the color for me, getting all healthy. But yeah, so again, for those who don't know, my name's Ryan. I am a business coach by trade. So that's where you may know some of my stuff. You've seen those videos. And what I do is I come live here. Again, I haven't been on here for the last couple of weeks just because of client work, and then also I wasn't going to be out here in the 95-degree weather that we had. I just basically just threw water on these guys and said, we'll see after the heat there. Because again, I don't like to prune or do any of these things when it's too high heat. But I come out here pretty much every afternoon, come live, chat with y'all here on the, talk about gardening, or if I'm doing work in my yard. That's where I've been actually prior to the last couple of weeks has been me in my, I'll bring you guys along so you guys get a better view of what I'm doing. Come down actually. You guys come down just a little bit. There you go, because I'm gonna be working down here. All right. So anyways, what the last couple of weeks what I've been doing is building flower beds in my backyard up against my privacy fence. I've got it's almost 120 linear feet worth of fence back there, and well, check that, it's 160 linear square feet, and I'm doing 120 linear feet of garden bed, which is sitting at and they're all about 5 to 6 feet wide. I've got all my perennials. They're in my greenhouse, which is right behind you. So FYI, you guys are looking south right now. This is south of my greenhouse. This is my first year putting my let's see here, my first year putting my tomatoes on this part of the garden. I did not know how they were going to look or what they're going to be like over here. But I tried them further on this side, on the south side, fully on the south side, and they didn't do too well. So they were well, the one corner where I didn't put them, where I took them out of this year, was, I mean, I'd say they were almost a month behind everybody else, just because they weren't getting that much sun. It was pretty rough. So, all right, let's get you guys down here. I got some more tomatoes that look like I want to pop on this one, so we want to see this again. This variety, I'm still learning how to work with this variety, this heirloom. So I don't want to necessarily pop off any additional greenery if I don't have to. Now, for the rest of these, the tomatoes that you see around here, these are all San Marzano tomatoes, San Marzanos. So they are, they're doing okay. I had some trouble with some frost that we came here a little bit earlier. So they kind of got a little wilty on me. They're recovering. They're not happy with me by any stretch of the imagination, but they're doing okay. They'll come around. But yeah, so the rest of these San Marzanos, these are all going to be for canning. That's basically going to have the rest of this row, and the 3 remaining rows we're going to look at as we're just tying them off are all for canning when they come, when they get ready to fruit here in a few months. So they'll all fruit about the same time. They'll be canning whole tomatoes, diced tomatoes, tomato sauce, and I'll do up some red sauce for you know, we don't do pasta in my house. I've had to cut out gluten. Unfortunately, my life's just gone downhill since I had to cut out gluten. Just a sad existence. But we like to have gnocchi and meatballs. So I'll do a few, maybe about a dozen or so of those. All right, there we go. Now, on a previous stream, what we did is we actually went through here and pre-strung all these. So these strings are down in the roots for these plants. Yeah, when we built out our trellises, we also did that on stream as well. So yeah, but yeah, it's been a minute since I've been out here. So hopefully all of y'all have been having a lot of success in your garden. That's my hope. You guys are all got a chance to get out in the garden, get everything all set for you. And things are doing well. Things here in this garden have been okay. I lost all of my sunflowers this year. Well, most of them this year. I had a mouse come in, if you can believe that. I had a mouse come in and ate all of my sunflowers. Ate the ones that were on top, and then dug down and found the seeds where the rest were. I came back from New Orleans. I had a conference down there no sunflowers, nothing. And I am not going to have time to get them started again. So that mouse helped me make a decision on where my brassicas are going to go. My brassicas are going to end up on the far side there. where my sunflowers were, which would be on the north side, which is fine because they'll get some shade because it's going to be behind my corn. It'll help them out. They don't really care for the heat all that much, but they'll get plenty of shade, I think, and they'll get it along with enough sun because the corn isn't going to be too high. So we'll just put my brassicas over there. Is what it is. Just won't put them where I thought I was going to, and instead I might grow like a second round of peas or grow some late beans or something. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I've got options. But today is really just getting these guys secured. It's gonna be an important piece for all of these, getting them secured. Because like I said, I'm gonna be gone for a minute. So I want to make sure that they are as set as they can be to grow and be successful. Okay. Let's see. We'll see how these do. I got some of them going. And again, I wasn't really, with the seeds that I got this year too for these San Marzanos, I am not happy with them. I wasn't happy with the germination rate. I wasn't happy with much. So I just have to kind of keep on grinding an eye on it here and see how this goes. Now, additionally, on top of everything I have here, watch me kind of see what I'm doing here, right? So all of this that's right here that you see, this is actually some older compost that I had that I started basically from last year's that I was finishing up that I put on top of here. So it's been feeding down into the tomatoes. Also, the other piece is how dark it is. It warms up and it helps keep the, especially with Michigan, it takes a while for us to turn over to these warm nights and warm days and warm nights. It helps keep the tomatoes warm too, up until that time. But these are giving off all the nutrients too from the compost as well, which is great. So it's just leaching down into the soil and feeding these guys, which is awesome. Okay, one more turn here. One more turn here. Come on. There we go. Okay, next slide. Now with this going, but again, with a support like this, they are a indeterminate species of tomato. It will grow an indeterminate height. It's a vine. As long as you have it supported, and it has water and nutrients, sunlight, and the right temperatures, all that stuff, it will keep on going. He'll keep growing up. That's what it'll do. So with these, what we do that's why we have this trellis, which is, I strung it earlier, built it up, and then when we were putting these in, just ran the strings down and put them underneath the tomatoes. So they are locked into the roots. Give it that support while the rest of the plant kind of gets its act together. Lots of goodness there. Okay, got the crows are making a visit around right now, thinking I'm up to something. But I tell you, this is the one thing Michigan just cracks me up. Last week, when I went down to New Orleans on Wednesday, it was 42 degrees when I woke up. Yesterday, it was 75 when I woke up. Like it just, and I know the rest of the country is getting warm too, but that's pretty standard for Michigan. We just go from freezing to, oh, by the way, now you're in the Midwest again, blazing hot and humid, which my tomatoes are very happy for. They're excited to have this weather back. Yeah. And New Orleans was fine. I always love visiting New Orleans. Nice town. Still got plenty of happy people. Still living their best lives. They've got, they got trouble that they're dealing with just like everywhere else. But I think the folks there, they're keeping their spirits up, which is always a good sign. Okay, there's that one. Hopefully, you guys have had a chance, like I mentioned earlier, had a chance to get your plants in, get everything, get your hands dirty, do the stuff you need to do. And now you're just in maintenance phase, kind of like me, which is what we're doing today. Just maintenance. Basically just trimming these up. Okay, let's get on to my next set. There you go. Maybe we'll do it this way. Let's see. Let's see what that view looks like. Yes, hard to say here. What do we got? Okay, you guys see what's good. You guys can see what's up. That's the biggest piece here. Like, I know what's going on. We got to make sure it's on camera though. So yeah, and you can see by the different sizes here too. These were all planted. We're all started on the same day, in the same space, same everything. And you can just see. This is why I'm not really a big fan of the seeds that I got this year. They are all over the place as far as their health. You know, as far as the, I think there was an issue with something because these took a while to germinate, and when they did, it wasn't a very strong germination. Whereas everything else I had this year was strong when it germinated. Just because of the weather we had in the spring, it was good in the greenhouse. Everything was right, so that was a little frustrating with them. But like with anything, the way it goes when you're doing this stuff, every year is a learning experience. That's what we're after. Is, you know, just learning how to manage here. It's only my second year on this property, so we're still figuring out how to do stuff here. And I'm from the area, moved back a couple years ago, but every plot of land's got its own little, got to learn how to operate within it. That is what we're doing here. Okay, that's one round of them done. I'm gonna switch over to this next set here because I've got some additional work I've got to do. Actually get to watch me run some string here. Again, if you haven't subscribed, you know, I hope I earn your subscription today. If you do so, please make sure you hit that notification bell so you'll know when I come live here, just like I'm doing right now. Come hang out with me and help me out in the garden. There's quite a few folks that like to stop by all the time. We sit, great conversations. I get to learn from them, some of their ideas and some of the things that they do in their gardens, which is cool. A good thing. Hey, so let me get these guys going. If you've been on the stream, you know this is a new thing I'm trying here. It's cucamelons along with my peas. So excuse me real quick. They were down. Okay, there we go. Back at it. So we're gonna just run string for the off the trellis here for my tomatoes. These tomatoes, slicing tomatoes, a set of them over there, and the rest are all cherry tomatoes. Gonna be, cherry tomatoes are, and they're just perfect. They're always, I love to have them in the house. They're just delicious, but they're also great when you, I don't know, again, they're maybe a little sweeter, you know, obviously they are a fruit, just like, well, these guys I can just rip off. We will do. But yeah, they're just, the other fact is that, you know, I always feel like I might waste other tomatoes, you know what I mean? And I may not need a full tomato for what I want to have, but I end up making myself eat the full tomato. No, I don't need the whole thing. I don't want to waste it. So, all right, there we go. So there we go. And let's see, and I'm going to change up here real quick. Sorry, folks. Sorry about that. So where I'm on my house is literally on the like the farthest away from both my Wi-Fi connections. One for my business and one for here. And it doesn't really matter which one I get on every now and again. Or if I have the phone like kind of where you're at, which I need for this part of the stream, it doesn't really connect all that well. So I apologize for you guys dropping off there. So anyways, what I was talking about with the tomatoes here, I always feel bad like I'm wasting them. You know, cherry tomatoes, you can real easy to portion. I need 5 cherry tomatoes, and there they, you know, cherry tomatoes, you can real easy to portion. I need 5 cherry tomatoes, and there they are. You know, they are. You know, but you know, again, they bring their own sort of. But you know, again, they bring their own sort of yumminess to the party. And the other part of it, you know, especially when I talk with people and they're talking, you know, they want to get started into gardening, I say cherry tomatoes are the best way to start. They really are. They're amazingly resilient plants. You know, they can hold up to just about anything and do well. I'll actually leave this guy alone. I'm going to leave him alone just like this. It's like he got something got after him. So the other piece here, which is funny, is, I mean, funny isn't interesting. This is also a spot where I had other tomatoes. This is where I did have tomatoes last year. So I have other tomatoes that I didn't plant, but they're from seeds from last year's tomatoes are popping up all over the place. So I'm going to have a mess of tomatoes around here this year, which is, you know, obviously, which is always a good thing in my mind. More tomatoes is never a bad thing. We are going to clip this off. I'm going to just keep an eye on this guy and see how it goes. Yeah, we'll just do a light little wrap here. Don't have the cord going all over the place. We'll just see what it does. It's still got leaves going, so it may end up switching off into switching the primary off, which does happen. Okay, so let's get on to the next one here. Whew. What a day, though. Everybody had a good week. I had a great week with my clients. This was one of those weeks where I was solving problems, which is a big part of what, obviously is what I'm in there to do, provide value. It always feels good those days, those weeks when I really nail it. They need my advice for something, my help, and I can deliver on, just a question, simple question that they have, but it's keeping them up at night, and that's what I don't want for them. That's why they work with me. They're looking for advice, and I didn't have an answer actually for one of the things that one of my clients asked for. I won't go into the details, but I have a network of people that I work with that are in my group. So I just sent it rather quickly that with an answer like, hey, this is what they have a group, quite a few businesses in the same industry as what my one client did. And they said, hey, this is what we've done as a standard. I was like, okay, cool, love it. And yeah, so I was able to get them that answer and send it off to them, and they were ecstatic because it was exactly what they're looking for. So that always feels good, you know what I mean? Again, that's why I got in the business, to help these business owners be able to do their jobs. But anyways, I digress. Back to the tomatoes here. Again, we're doing good. I'm not making our way down the line here. And you can see here, these are definitely getting happy around here, getting some decent size to them, getting some heft. But right next to them, I've got other tomatoes that are popping in there. And we did have that one day with where it was nippy. It was right down around freezing. We didn't quite get there according to the thermometer, but down here I could just tell with some of the tomatoes that they got some frost nip on them. They're hurting a bit. Just tell with the way their leaves are. They'll be all right. They'll figure it out, or they won't, and we'll just deal with it, But anywho, but yeah. So that was a real bummer though with my sunflowers. Basically losing my entire crop this year. I grow them and I use them in and around my garden for quite a few things, which is, it's one of the reasons I grow them. I also grow them just so I can have some seeds for for the birds during the winter. One of the reasons I have it. And yeah, so it was a bummer, big bummer to have that happen where that mouse got in there and ate them up. I ain't mad at the mouse, it's hungry, but no, which is fine. I mean, like, again, not the end of the world. Does mean I got a plan for that for next year, because I do want to make sure I have sunflowers for next year. I do like to grow them. My Mexican sunflowers, there's a video on those. You guys want to check it out, for Mexican sunflowers that I did, are doing great. They're going to be my first year growing those, and they're coming along nice. They're getting ready to, matter of fact, they're getting ready to bloom right now. Oh, they're budding out. So that's cool. So that's a good thing. All right, on to the next spot here. Yeah, and then I got my my basil is doing well here too. Oh, and then I got we made tacos, venison tacos the other night, and I got to use my oregano, which I have growing just over there next to my thyme. So I got to use the fresh oregano this year, so that was great. Got a nice little, gives a a little bit different flavor than the dried oregano, but still, it's great. Nice, and that umami, the umami you're looking for is great. Okay, so just cut this guy off, and we got one more row of these to do. We'll be done with the tomatoes, and then we'll work our way over to the peas. I'm really looking forward to, because that means I get to snack. One of the reasons I had peas is so I could have snacks in the garden, and I'm not really going to worry about canning them. Next year will probably be a canning year for them, more than likely. Let's do this. Slink. All right, that guy trimmed down. But this year, no canning for the pea. I mean, peas are really, really cheap in the stores, so it's not. This is mostly just, I like to have them growing, and then, like I said, snacks. And I start them. I've actually got my next row of peas. I got to get started here next week before I go. I start peas pretty much a new row of them every couple of weeks. So that way I've constantly got a stream of fresh peas to kind of munch on, at least during the first couple months in the garden. And then once the tomatoes start going, everything else is available. I got plenty of snacks in the garden while I'm working, so don't need that. But the peas are my first go, that's for sure. Okay, so we're gonna switch over here, you guys. So again, welcome to everybody who's making it on here today. Good to have you here. Again, if you haven't already, love to have your subscription. That'd be great. All right, and you can see here, I don't know how well you can see the soil, everything that I have, but this is compost that I made from this year. I've gotten my next two batches of compost are finishing up right now. They'll be ready in a couple weeks. That I'll be able to have them out. And what I do is I put the compost directly over the top of either this, or I've got wood chips that I just put on top. And what that does is it gets down, and now it's inoculating the soil with all of the goodness from the compost. Plus, it's a good weed barrier too, as well. So that's the other thing. Okay, so while I'm here, I'm also going to do a little weeding. So if you don't mind, always trying to stay on top of my weeds here. I had a ton of crabgrass this year that I had to go and basically turn my entire garden over, which was a little depressing. They have to go do that, but it is what it is. To go through and rip out the rhizomes, and like with anything, you're not going to get everything, and that's kind of what I'm pulling out here. Is I've just got the last vestiges that are still sneaking around the garden. As I see them, I just pull them out, and off they go in the compost, because if compost will take care of them, that won't be an issue. My compost consistently hits around 145 to 150 on the heat range. So that's not an issue temperature wise. So it'll smoke out anything that's in here, which a big part of. That's where you get down to the carbon, which is left here, which is why you see the black color for everything here in the compost, how rich it is in carbon. Okay, well that looks better. This tomato was doing great, but kind of getting harassed here, so get these guys out of there. Got a clover for days. Here, man, this is more over here than I thought. Clear this up a little bit. The heck? Had a bird run into the fence. Poor guy. Poor guy. Okay, so where was I? Oh yeah, I was over here. Let me get, so you can see, another fistful of weeds out of here. Just trying to stay on top of them, you know. This clover, so it's already starting to, it's a little too far along, or further along than I care to see it. So anyways, so yeah, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got a ton of tomato plants popping up all over here, so I'm gonna let them go. I don't remember what type they were over here. I think they're slicers. So this area here, basically the full length of my south side here, used to be, was, you know, had tomatoes in it last year. And it does well, so that's why I'm not worried about what we got going on here. Let me just do this real quick. Trying to bring it up some. These areas that, you know, I know I'm not going to have any tomato growth off of. And for this side, I'm testing out here, is what I did is actually ran a string along the bottom here across that I have the strings tied down to. So we're just seeing how that goes. I'm gonna let this little guy go a little bit longer because he's just too small to get tied up yet. This guy's in a good spot though. There we go. Bring this down here. Tie this off here. So yeah, this is and this big part of this, you know, when you're starting a garden is really just kind of experimenting and figure out what's going to work best for you, you know, in your garden. You know, I have no illusions about, you know, the right way, you know, what works best for me. I'm always trying to figure out if there's a better way to do things, you know what I mean? And in this case, especially with these tomatoes and stuff we have going on, I don't know the right way, the best way with, you know, in this environment here, to be able to make sure I'm getting a successful harvest out of this. So it is definitely experimentation time, which again, I recommend make an effort anytime that you're dealing or working in your garden, or you know, you're trying to start these things. Make an effort to, you know, try a couple different ways the same within the year. What you'll find out is, you know, what you thought would have been the best way for you many times isn't. You know, you just got to go through the process of testing it. So if you do, you know, if you're able to do more than one type of either trellis, like in this case, I'm testing out running the string at the bottom to see how does the support function. I think it'll be fine, but you know, we'll keep an eye on it. And I have other ones that are buried and whatnot. So we're just going to play around and see what works best for me. But we're not going to do, which is the most important thing, we're not going to worry. At the end of the day, you can do everything right, your plant can still die. Just because, you know what, it decided it didn't want to live. It decided it was, you know what, we're just going to be done with life. And that happens. There's nothing you can do about it. There's no reason to be upset. That's a big part of what we do on this channel. We don't worry about stuff. Worrying will spoil your plants. It will ruin them. We're supposed to enjoy our time out here. All right? Especially here. I mean, I live in Michigan, so I'm stuck inside all winter. We don't want that. So anything I can do to make, so I want to make sure everything I'm doing I'm taking advantage of the sunshine and the warmth out here, so I can be, so I want to make sure I'm doing stuff I enjoy. In this case, this is something I enjoy. A lot of fun. Okay, this guy is struggling over here. And it's, like I said, all of these plants were all started at the same time. So it's very interesting to see, you know, who's struggling where and why and what issues they're going through. Okay, cool. So we've got all the tomatoes are strung. So that's pretty cool. We like that. We love that for us. Up next, going to be peas. I'm going to restring some of these, but I also want to check down. And again, reason I grow my peas, so I can come through and do stuff like this. That is what it's about, folks. Oh man, that is the good stuff. I might even have one more. Yeah, 100%. This is why I grow peas. Just, I mean, these clovers aren't really hurting anything down there. Hey, just leave the clovers. Clovers are good because they have they're nitrogen fixing. So what they do is they help transition, bring nitrogen from the air, the N2 that's in the air, and what they do is they transform it into a version of nitrogen that the plants can have. Here, what are these guys doing up on my? Where are you? I got a whole bunch of ants up in this one guy. What are you guys doing up there, man? I don't think I want you guys just hanging out there. Let's do this. Not really sure what that was about. Okay. That was weird. All right, and this guy is not. That was weird. This guy here got some lamb's quarter or lamb's foot. Was hiding in there. You don't want that guy growing in there. Okay, cool. That's better. Got another guy kind of hanging out here, which I don't mind when they're smaller. They help support the plants, especially the peas. But now that they're all kind of growing together here, they've got plenty of support. And what's really cool is inside of here, I actually have a tomato plant making its way up. So when these peas are done, I'll have a few a few more tomato plants growing. Ain't that something? All right, so let's get this next. I only have one more. I'm kind of hungry. Not gonna lie. Where's the little guy at? There he goes with this guy. Yep, that's what it's about right there. All right, so we're gonna run one more. There are two more things to string here. Now these posts that I have here, you know, these posts are my sunflower stalks from last year. So what I did is I actually, I cured these in my greenhouse over the winter, dried them out, got them nice and solid, and then stored them in my shed, keep them dry once they were done. I need them for this year. I use them, you know, for stuff like this around the garden, and they're really good for it. Plus, you know, they I mean, it's not like peas weigh a lot, so they can support plenty, and the peas gives them a little something to hold on to. So I'm just going to continue to make like a nice little web here of stuff for these guys to grab onto. Let them just keep on growing. They're going to keep going as long as they got support. We're going to make sure that they have support. All right. Now, the other thing that I have over here, oh man, I got to change where Buddha's at. Buddha's kind of getting covered by the... By the way, one of the things with my garden too is I don't mind... I got my Buddha. Buddha's got a spot here. There we go. It's better. You know, I also have over here, additionally, I have pumpkin growing from last year, which I didn't stop. I'm just going to once the vine gets going to a decent enough size, I'm just going to train the vine down right down the middle of the way here, so it can just keep on doing its thing. Let me put one right here. But yeah, I mean, if stuff wants to grow in the garden and it's food, I don't really worry about the spacing either. Like, you'll see some people that are really concerned about the spacing and all the other stuff that goes along with that. I'm definitely not one of those people either. You know, like I was saying, I have this, let's see, actually, I want this guy right here. Okay, anyways, so that pumpkin, don't worry about it at all, but I've got all sorts of stuff kind of intermixed here. There's certain things that don't like to grow together, by all means, and I do my best to make sure I pay attention to that, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to worry about it if I can. Just try to get stuff grown where I can, and the more stuff you have grown in the ground, the better, as far as I'm concerned. What in the world do I have growing here? These plants, these are big. They've got to be, I wonder if I have I bet you I got sorghum growing again. That's probably what that is. So I have my bird feeders. They're just like over here, and they're constantly over here chittering and chuttering away, you know, munching on stuff. And it appears what ends up happening is they have the seeds go everywhere. Well, sorghum grows really well in the Midwest, and sorghum is one of the main things you're going to see along with, like, in your typical bird mix. So we have that going on too. I've got sorghum growing again, looks like, at least, which is hilarious. Yeah, see, that's sorghum. Smells like corn. That's too funny. Anyway, as I said, all the birds are all excited because, you know, they're going to end up with a really nice, you know, some spots, some good food over here. I think I've got most of this under control now. Get this guy here. Yeah. Let's do this thing. Cool. Cool. I think I might do some peas tonight too. I think I got some that are ready. Let's see. This guy might be. Let's see. Let's see together. Let's see if I got some peas here. Yep, we got peas. Them out right there. Let's see how they taste. Obviously well, that's good. Yep. Those peas right there are doing excellent. However, once they're that big, you can't eat the shells anymore. They're a bit too fibrous at that point. But those peas are ready. We may be having peas tomorrow for dinner. Heck yeah! All right, so again, I got all this going along here. Again, just checking in on my peas, make sure that they're doing all right here. Everybody seems like they're in a good spot. But he's, for the most part, secured. No real issues. I got to re-secure this piece. Just loosened up. But this is a big part, you know, it's where I put on there like June garden tasks. Big part of what you do in June with your garden really is simply just making, you know, is maintenance, okay? Tomatoes are good, you know, pruning them. Like right now, I'm just doing a little maintenance on the trellis that I have for my peas. Make sure that's going to be okay. You know, we're going to come over here and give you guys a look at my lettuce situation over here. And by what I mean by lettuce situation, I legitimately mean lettuce situation. Let's see, I've got my kale doing okay. What do I got here? Broccoli's doing okay. And you can see, though, I've got tomatoes are popping up everywhere. Now this is my second round of a butter lettuce that I have. It's this one right here, the second round. And look at all those tomatoes that are coming up. I got my carrots over there. And this was the pumpkin I was telling you guys about that got started from last year's pumpkins. So I'm going to have to, I'm going to have to train that guy along. I've got another pumpkin that started over here that I'm going to have to take a look at. But for right now, really what I'm doing, oh, and I got more. Yes, we're going to kind of clean this up a little bit. I don't mind the shade that it's providing, but I do want these guys to get a little bit of light. And this is my kale. This is my sacrificial kale. I do eat it, but not that much. Mostly it's in here just to kind of keep something in the ground. But I've got some other butter lettuce that's down there that I want to keep an eye on. And again, this has already been harvested once. So I'm just trying to kind of keep this guy down where it's at. And then I've got my endive, so this is endive, by the way. So this is endive. This is it's bitter from the flavor side of the house, but it's really good mixed in with this one here. So I got a black seed lettuce right here. And what I like to do with my lettuce is you get this tomato plant just doing its thing. Come on, bud. I like to get a little bit of this endive, a whole head of the black seed, and then a whole section of the butter lettuce here, and really just kind of have this little trifecta going together. It's really good. But I'm getting ready to pull, when I get back from California, I'm going to pull basically this whole section, all of these out. Well, yeah, I'm going to pull them all out and replant another set of my next round of lettuce. So this thing is just going to be lettuce constantly being put in every couple weeks, just dropping new lettuce in there. So, oh hey, who stopped in? Oh hey Kelly, how are you? Good to see you. But yeah, so the kind of the idea here is to get this constant state of I always want to have some sort of fresh lettuce in here. That's the piece. We're in the Michigan weather here, so it's nice. What? Oh, yeah, California. Yeah, I'll be there next week. All right, there you go. Back. Hey, so sorry about that. I'm on the. Yep. Hey, Kelly. Yeah, sorry about that. No, I just I'm on the wrong side of the house here, but. Sorry about that. Yeah, like I say, my Wi-Fi where I'm at is trying to go through the whole house to get here. So, but anyways, stuff I'm weeding in between my lettuce is actually my tomatoes from last year. I had a whole bunch of cherry tomatoes over here, and they dropped a ton of seeds. So they're just growing up like mad over here. You can see, actually, I think there might be, is there something left? Nope. Nope, nothing left there. But you can just see lots of tomatoes coming in here. So we're just going through and just, pulling them out. And if I have to have any sort of weeds, tomatoes will be the weeds that I want to have. But yeah, you can barely see it. You can see just tiniest little bit of the skin left on there from, went away there, from the cherry tomato. You see the yellow skin. That's what most of these are those coming up from tomatoes that dropped. And the thing is, that's the thing. If you want to save your tomato seeds, which I will be doing this year, I don't know if I'm going to save those San Marzanos, though. They look pretty rough. We'll see. Is you have to let them ferment a little bit before you dry them. It's just kind of the way they work. Here you go. Here's a better version. So you can see the yellow seed or the skin from the tomato. All the seeds were in. Some of these bigger ones I'm going to let go just because They're not over here with my lettuce, but I don't really want anybody competing with my lettuce. If I can help it. Some over there. But yeah, this is good stuff this year. These on this corner of the garden's doing really great. I only had one problem where I had a rabbit coming in here. There was a hole in the fence that I missed, and you know, just like the velociraptors in, let me get rid of this guy. The velociraptors in Jurassic Park, the rabbits will keep testing the perimeter to see if they can find a weakness. And they did. One guy finally found one. I was coming in here, I was like, man, how in the heck are they getting in here? Because I could not see. I didn't see the hole. And I looked over and I finally saw it. And it was it was my fault from last year. I forgot to repair something. So good on them. They found the weak spot. Bad on me, missing it. Yeah, because they were chomping away at my lettuce here. I was like, man, I keep losing lettuce. I don't like this at all. All right. Let's see how we're doing. So I've got my carrots. I just thin them out. So anyways, I figured I'd give you a show. Carrots are starting. They're getting there, looking pretty good. I think by the time that they get the size they need to be, they'll be pretty tasty. That'll do. Yep, that's carrot. All right, so that's that. Now the last bit we're going to be doing here is I'm going to set up right here. You guys are probably going to get, let's see how I look on this. All right, I'm going to switch over to the squash, like that's a thing. Hey, not my first rodeo. I know how this goes. So, but I'm going to pound my here and get started on my squash and my zucchini. Let's see how let's see. Now it's full. I just want to see how it looks. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Won't be able to see much of what you guys are saying if anyone's there, but we can get started. Okay. So this is pretty straightforward. Oh man, did you guys die? Oh, I think he killed this one. Oh. Yeah. Man, I'm down one. Boo. Whatever was eating those things got ones. I'm not a 7. So again, I'm not too worried about it because it's one thing I don't have to, if you've ever grown these before, you don't run out of squash and or zucchini. Okay. Now these are going to be the base support for these. Once they get established, I'm going to come through and actually there's slot in as they grow up, depending on how high they get this year, will be additional supports and that'll be from those sunflower I have. All right, so we're gonna put this on a couple different sides. Which way I should have went. Sorry if that's loud, folks. Sorry about that. Now, what I'll be doing is going to be basically just supporting these northward or upward. Northward, good Lord. With the idea of that as they're growing up, I don't want them basically going, rather I want to save as much of the ground space as I can, because I'm going to be planting a lot of base. Once these get established and I know what the what the track's going to be like for them, this whole area is going to be filled with short-term projects, short-term growth, things that I want growing, stuff I'm not too worried about, that don't take the 120 days that like pumpkins do, or stuff that I can grow quick. Additionally, I may have some, may just pick up some stuff from the garden center that's already grown and just have that kind of make its way basically, so I'm not waiting, just to fill the space and grow a few more things. All right, well, this guy got chomped on pretty hard. I don't know what that was about. Okay, so those is done. Okay, the last bit of maintenance that I have for today, we're just about done, is I'm going to be going over here, and one of my Brussels flopped over. It's a shame, hate to see it, but it happened. One of them's got to get cut down. That's what we're doing. So if you haven't seen Brussels sprouts before, when they're like this, they have a lot darker. These still have more to mature. But so I'm going to let these guys go all the way. Always a good thing. All right. I think that for me today, like I say, it's been a little bit of a bummer. Like I said, I was supposed to have here. You can see where I've got a couple items that are still making their, I've got here some there right now. There he goes. Yeah, I'm gonna do some Brussels sprouts for sure. So yeah, we're gonna have a bunch. So it'll be good stuff. Well, thanks for stopping by. See you next time.